Hi, Kimberly.
Hi, Keena.
They're missing our song. Let's
That's
do
what we
it.
heard. So let's do it.
Uh, 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 uh.
Funds. How many of us have them? Funds.
Fun.
Ones you can depend on. Get those funds. I'm Kimberly,
I'm Kina.
and we're your balance partners. And April is on assignment today.
She's on assignment.
She's
Yes.
on assignment. So, first things first. Podcast looks a little different, doesn't it?
Very different.
And we've been away for a little while.
We have. I don't think we haven't recorded in a couple months.
Yeah, I think the last recording was posted like September 10th.
Yes. Yes.
So it's been a
A
couple.
little over a month and a half, almost 2 months.
Right. So we had an episode about pivoting, and we pivoted.
Pivot.
And I'll start off. So, when we started this podcast, we wanted it to be appealing to the people. We
Right.
wanted to share information. We were renting this nice studio, and it was a nice studio. The people there were really nice. And then we would record, and then we'd send it, and then we get edited, and all these other things would happen, right? So I think the first catalyst for our pivot was we went to schedule our next session. And I was scheduling it, and I realized our podcast studio had increased their prices by 25%.
That's a lot.
25%. That's a lot. And I was like, let's think about this. Let's
Right.
sit back and think about what we're trying to offer and how much it costs us to offer what we're offering.
And are we practicing what we preach?
That's that.
And what we preach to small businesses around always evaluating what your costs are and cost benefit.
Mm-hmm. And is there a return on the investment?
Exactly.
Right.
So right now, while we're giving this information and we're hoping that there are small business owners out there learning and listening and understanding, we don't make money off of it. So there's no profit line item.
Right. It's a cost center.
It is a cost center.
And we don't have a way to determine if we're impacting small businesses.
Right.
We email us or whatever, and I haven't heard anything. When we first started, there were a few comments on the YouTube version of the podcast.
Correct.
But yeah. So,
and what's interesting is we at least know that people have listened, because then when we see people face to face, they're like, I listened to your podcast, or I watched your podcast. So we know there are listeners and watchers out there and have been asking for it. And so we know that it is helpful. We hope to get this out to more people. So those of you who do listen and watch, not only subscribe, but also share, because the information that we're providing, we're doing it from a place of caring about small businesses in this interesting time that we're living in right now. So that definitely was a big catalyst for us changing, was the cost. But also, I think we recognize we want to be able to work within our schedules and be able to provide information that's relevant as quickly as we can.
Exactly.
Yes.
So now we could just talk to you from our computers.
Exactly. Leveraging technology.
Right. And wherever we are, if we're traveling, if I'm traveling and you're not, if a topic comes up, we can say, hey, let's hop on and let's talk about it.
Right. We'll get April up to speed on the technology.
Yeah. April will be on too. She's just on assignment. Like, she's on a client.
She's at a client.
Yeah. So she's making money.
Yes. Which is important. So so that's what we were talking about in Pivot, is that you always want to be constantly reevaluating your business, looking at how that impacts your bottom line or your goals, reevaluating your goals while you're trying to do certain things in your business, and then not be afraid to say, you know what, stop, let's adjust, let's do it, and do it quickly. Because
And see,
that was one of the things we talked about.
right. So we stopped. We said let's adjust, but it has been a couple months because we just went through homecoming season too, y'all.
Yeah.
We're HBCU grads, and it was a little bit of time when I was traveling quite a bit, and trying to travel and teach and
Mm-hmm.
make some money.
Mm-hmm.
Schedules were a little off, but now we've got the tools and technology that if I wanted to go to somebody's homecoming next week, I think homecoming season's coming to an end. Well, HBCU homecoming. I don't know what those other schools do.
Almost. I
Yeah,
think maybe one more week.
maybe. So if I decided, I'm gonna go to homecoming this weekend, and we find an issue, I'll have my computer, I'll have my information, my setup, my little mini studio, and we can talk about it.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So
So
what do we
you may see us in all kinds of remote locations.
Right. And you may see us when like I'm due for a retire, so you can't see my scalp, and that's okay. All kinds of states of beauty. You may see
States of beauty.
states
Always beautiful, Kimberly.
always
Always.
beautiful. It's just different, it's different levels, different
There's
levels.
levels. There's
There's
levels.
to it. So
Yes. I've had several hairdos on this particular podcast. So now I'm in winter hair. I was in summer hair. Now I'm in winter hair.
ever changing. So what are we talking about today, Kina?
So our topic,
yes.
There is a lot going on in the world of business that is impacted by the politics, the government that is going on right now. And we just want to touch base with our small business owners across the land around some of the things that have happened. And so we're going to go through a couple of those. One of them, let's start with the big one that is for us that we're working through, because we are small business owners too. So is healthcare.
Yes.
So there's been a lot of conversation around right now as we tape this. The federal government is still shut down. And there is a fight around healthcare.
Right.
And there were subsidies that were provided as part of the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, aka government help. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it.
But it was started during the Obama administration. That was the legislation they fought for. And what it allowed was a marketplace for people who want healthcare who are not employed by a company that provides healthcare.
Right.
So there was the ability before Obamacare technically to buy healthcare, but it wasn't as widely available and it was very costly.
Right.
So, and then they created the Affordable Care Act that created the marketplace. And then I believe it started during COVID, maybe is when the subsidies really kicked in. So there were subsidies before that are income based. So I'm kind of telling this for those of you who don't totally understand what really is going on, and this is all fact based, is that there are subsidies that are paid for by the government, by the federal government, that helps offset the cost of your health care. And if you then end up making more money than what you predicted you would make, when you go to do your tax return, you have to pay back that credit. Oh, yes.
I'm raising my hand because I had.
Yes. So you go in, especially as those of you who are small business owners or you are entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs, that you go in and you don't know necessarily how much you're going to make each year. Right. And so you estimate it. Just be prepared that, well, the way it was before, you have to be prepared that when it comes time to your taxes, depending on whatever amount you said you were going to make, there may be an aspect that's added to your tax payment. So you want to just plan for that, right? And so now with the changes with stopping the subsidies,
because
and
they expire
that
at
the
the end of
current,
this
they
year.
expired. Yep, they expired this year. And with stopping those, it has more, it's a combination. The subsidy being gone,
Mhm.
and then the actual cost of healthcare itself
Going up.
went up.
Mhm.
So you have, so for both of us, we were on Aetna,
Mhm.
and Aetna was,
But we
is
gotta
not
say
even
this.
available.
Wait, we gotta say this though, because Georgia created its own marketplace.
Yes.
So the
Yes.
first year we were doing this, we were on the federal marketplace.
Yes.
And then
That's
Georgia
right.
said we want to have our own marketplace. And so it went from the first year on Aetna, but we're in the federal marketplace,
Yeah.
switched to the Georgia marketplace because that's what we have to do. Aetna came over, price went up, not a whole lot, but the price went up.
Yep.
Then received an email or something, probably
Got a letter.
got a letter. I got an email, got a letter.
Mhm.
It was probably like July or so.
July. Yep. It was the summer.
And it said, and listen, this is what it said. Aetna, CVS/Aetna, comma, a Georgia corporation is leaving the Georgia marketplace.
Yeah,
And
I didn't realize. Yeah, I didn't think. Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
it said a Georgia corporation is leaving the Georgia marketplace. So that we still, well, I haven't looked since the options were out there, but at that time, okay, at that time I was just like, oh man, I like Aetna. I liked my insurance. It was pricey compared to what I paid when I was in corporate America, but I liked Aetna, and I was like, oh, I got to get somebody else. Then comes the subsidies expiring, and I'll just share my numbers. You mind if I just share my numbers?
Yeah, share a number.
This was an estimate because I haven't looked since November 1st because I've been in my prayer closet about this. But I was paying $462 a month for my Aetna insurance. Just me. No children, no spouse, just me. When I put in last week for the estimate.
And your subsidy was at 462.
Yeah,
and they did a subsidy, what, about $200 then?
Oh, it's more than that. But yeah, maybe anyway.
Yeah, it should have been about $200.
Right. I paid out of pocket $462.
Yes. So the total cost monthly was probably like around $680 or somewhere around there. And then you had the $220 that you got from the government, so you paid for it.
Right. Which I had to pay some of that back. But
yeah, but
I estimated wrong. That was my first year. It was my first year, estimated kind of low. And then I checked last week, I want to say. It was like, oh, you could just see what you're gonna get. And it was like $1,051 that I'd have to pay out of pocket a month for just medical.
Just not dental and vision. Well, I went and looked in preparation for this podcast.
Okay.
I went and looked, and the lowest is around a little under $1,000 a month. That is also with $50 copays, because before for your primary care visit, for those routine visits for women, for your gynecology annual visit, all of those you did not have a copay. Now it is a higher premium and a copay. So it is for any visit, any doctor visit. So the lowest was like a little under 1,000, all the way up to as much as 1,500. So if you wanted to get a plan that did not have any copays, so those like that 1,500 was like a zero copay, and then your generic drugs were like $2 a prescription.
Got
it. But the one that is a little under 1,000, it's like around a $50 copay, and it's around $20-$30 for your generic drugs. Yeah.
For generic? Yeah. Okay.
Generic. So they so it is higher. This is not hyperbole. It is higher healthcare costs. And for a lot of individuals, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people who work for companies that don't provide healthcare, so they're not an entrepreneur, but they work for an entrepreneur. or a company that's small, so small that they can't afford to have group health care, it impacts all of us. Because hopefully you're out there getting insurance,
Right.
because without it, you're one medical emergency away from bankruptcy,
Right.
because of how much it costs.
Yeah.
So this is a serious issue, and then the lens of the small business. One of the things that we've looked at is, well, what would happen if we look into a group plan? So, the initial numbers around a group plan are still high, because when all the different factors of who your staff is come into play. So if you have younger staff, they're cheaper. If you have older staff, they cost more. And older is over like 40 years old. So, younger staff are, they're pretty cheap. Though they are, the women in those 20s and 30s are in birthing years.
Right.
So that is also factored. So there are all of those different things that actuaries work on to come up with what's the right cost. It's all based on all of those different aspects of what type of employees you have.
Right.
And so as we are looking at that, it would then become an extra burden on our firm if we take on a portion of healthcare for our team, to try and offset so that people can try to get healthcare. So that's an extra expense that we didn't have before.
Yeah, Keena, your light's in your eye.
Oh, let me go down.
You don't go down. Can you raise the light? I don't want you to be like, hey, let me talk to the people from here.
Is that better?
We might be able to edit it out as we learn this process.
Right.
When you like,
when I go like this.
Yes. Or right now you're fine.
Oh,
but
okay.
when we talk, so you're like,
because I'm yes.
And so that goes back to our first pivot. While this wasn't one of the reasons, but now the money that we were spending on renting this studio and doing all this fancy stuff, we can shift over to making sure that people have health care.
Yeah. Because those business owners, you want to make sure, think about your people, because it is very difficult to get good people.
Right.
And so, in terms of how do you build an environment that people want to work with, be highly engaged. You want people to be able to feel, be healthy.
Right.
Because healthy people who work for you are better employees. So thinking through that and how do you cover those kind of costs is important to be able to figure out what you can do there. And so that's what we're trying to figure out.
Right. Because, you consider what am I going to do? I mean, if, worst case scenario, I'll pay $1,000 a month, but it's, what am I going to do? I'm not going back to corporate America.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm not. But if you're a small business and you're not making sure that your people are taken care of as it relates to healthcare, you may have some of them saying, "Hey, okay, it's been real. I love your vision. I love what you're doing, but I have to go back and work for big Fortune 500 companies so that I can have some healthcare insurance."
Yeah. And we have members of our staff that are considering that. That hey, exactly your point. I'm gonna have to go get a job. And how crappy is it that you have to go work somewhere simply because you want healthcare?
Right.
Not because it's a job you want to do, not because it is something you're passionate about, but literally so you can go to the doctor.
Right. And
something's not right about that.
My alternative is a marriage of convenience. Look, I never want to be married again. I don't want to go back to corporate America, but I don't know which one is worse for me right now. So pay $1,000 a month if it comes down.
which means more billable hours.
Right. I'm just gonna pay that money anyway. And so that is what is at the forefront right now. But there are other issues that have come out
Yeah.
with this latest administration that's affecting small businesses. One, with government being shut down, governmental contracts,
Yes.
federal
Yes.
contracts. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, there are a lot of small businesses that rely on governmental contracts
Yes.
because built into some, now it's coming out though, but built into some, there are some requirements that a certain part of the business is performed by a minority firm.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is double dipping. So you got the government shutdown, small businesses can't get paid or they're not working for the government. But then you also have the DEI issue.
Yes.
Where they're revoking some of those provisions. And so it's not just the government. These are companies that want to be in good standing with the government.
Right.
They don't want to get in trouble or whatever it may be. The Targets of the world that come out with a statement, even though they still have product,
right.
It's crazy. It's like, I don't want to get in trouble with the government. So I'm going to say, we are discontinuing all our DEI initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
You have that. And then you have some companies that are like, we don't have to deal with you, so we won't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so how does that affect small businesses?
Right. And it impacts all the way around, right? To your ability to, there's a lot of, I've had conversations, and actually even before this administration, had conversations with several of our clients around making sure, maybe I was Nostradamus.
I believe
but having conversation with them around, making sure, are you in the profit side of the business? What I mean by that is that you're not just a contractor because you are checking off a DEI box, but it's because you also are providing services that help their clients grow. And that when you are contracted, are you being contracted out of the DEI office, or are you being contracted out of the for-profit division? So that was the conversations I was even having with them even before this administration came to play, because you want to make sure that the services you're providing are linked to profit. You're dealing with the corporation.
Yes. And be it Nostradamus or whatever, but a lot of the more recent DEI initiatives came out of the George Floyd.
Yeah, there was that little spike.
Yes, that was that spike. And then after a while, it's like, oh, they forgot about it. It's going down.
Yes.
Then, it's like, now it's like, you can't even have that division. So,
But this is the one thing about a company, and this is the one thing about a corporation, they want to make money.
Yes.
Right. So that nothing trumps that. What an interesting word. But nothing supersedes profit.
Making money.
Making money, because they have share owners, and their share owners are expecting a return. So if you are contracting with that business, you need to be aligning to whatever their profit structure is, and understanding how do they make money, because diverse consumers still exist.
Yes.
They didn't go anywhere.
Right.
And the spending power of that diverse consumer is still there.
Right.
And the competition to get those dollars doesn't go away.
Right. So I think one other thing before we stop this is, as a small business, depending on if it's a service or a product, you also have to consider with the government shutdown, with the discontinuation of SNAP benefits, if you are providing a service to people directly, even they have to, people have to start pulling back and saying, okay, yes, I love this organization. I love the candles that they make, but I can't afford to have candles right now.
That was a nice to have.
Yeah, it was a nice to have. It's not a need.
Necessity.
We're focusing on needs now, because whether it's I'm a government employee and I'm not getting paid, whether it's I'm working with my family. Let's say, my sister has SNAP benefits and she's in trouble. Now I gotta take that money and help her. It's affecting everyone. And the small business is the one, because the small businesses, they aren't Walmart. People are gonna go to Walmart regardless.
Right.
But if, your nice smelling candle that costs maybe $10 more than the regular candle, gotta go.
Yep. Which means that you have to then look at your price structure as well. And then we got to talk about that other piece of it that is hard for an entrepreneur. When you were high, I know you were fly. I know you were fly. I know your car was fly, your place was fly, your clothes were fly, or whatever the term is now. I say fly, I'm from the 80s, 90s. But what is it now?
You were fly.
But yeah, so I know all of those things were together. Now it may be time to shrink. As I tell some, be realistic about your costs, because now you may have to change what your margins are, which means you have to change your price structure, which means what your take home is, and recognize that business is cyclical. So it may not always be like this, but if you continue to try and pay yourself the same amount you used to pay, regardless of what your numbers are, still trying to live this certain lifestyle, still trying to have all these extra expenses, the expensive leased vehicle on the business, all of those different things that you were paying for, time to turn it in. Maybe time to turn it in and get something that's more affordable and ride the storm out. But trying to continue to live at this level when maybe your candle that you used to sell 5,000 units a month, and now at this you need to forecast and say, well, you know what, based on where it is, if I was selling at 25 and I need to go to 20, and I may not sell 5,000, I need to go to 3,000. Where is your finance person to help you say, okay, now we need to scale back everything else to make sure that you can still work and your business survives through this valley.
Right.
That's why you need your finance person.
Exactly. So I guess, do we still want to do some shooting the
Yes. So we need to do, well,
we don't have our
shooting the So yes. Well, Kimberly, what's your topic? Because
I really don't have a topic. It's just so much. We talk about shooting the and the world is going to So do you have anything that you want to talk about?
Well, that my cousin I saw an email that just came through that his dog is being baptized. So I'm like, when do they start baptizing dogs?
Is that what we're doing now? All dogs go to heaven. And
there was a movie too.
Yes, that's what I was referencing.
Yeah.
I mean,
if anybody's going to heaven, wouldn't it be dogs?
It would be definitely dogs. Cats might not make it, but dogs.
Yeah, cats sometimes.
Sometimes. So how is this going to be at a church?
At a church.
Shut your mouth.
Is the dog going to be dipped in the water?
Maybe they're doing it like, United Methodist is going to be a sprinkling.
Oh, a sprinkling.
Yeah,
I'll have to find out some details. Maybe others could share with us if they've gotten their dog baptized. How's
it work?
And then invited everybody out, like to come out.
for you, well, you got an invitation to hop on a plane.
Yeah, it was like, yeah. So if you'd like to join.
Did he have a hotel block?
No, not yet. Not yet. We'll
Yeah,
see.
because we know how he is. There
Yeah.
may be a hotel block and a full-on schedule. We're gonna get the baby baptized, then we're gonna go to brunch,
Right,
with bottomless mimosas.
right, exactly. That the dog can't even partake in.
Right. Okay, all right. Something
So
new.
apparently there's a new trend. This lets you know what is going on in the world, that you feel like your dog needs to be baptized.
Right. And it also
Because
lets
it's
you
like
know that
everybody's soul needs to be protected.
everybody's soul needs to be cleansed. We need to make sure, take every step we need to make sure, because it might, well, the world is going to
Yeah. So
well, all
well,
right. Yes.
yeah, but please share with us if you have gotten your animal, your pet,
And your animal
baptized. But that was pretty funny to me.
yes.
Well, so we're back. You'll see us more. We will continue to share as things pop up. And we
Mhm.
see, I saw a couple things come up. Maybe we'll share around some tax things as you're going into the end of the year to
Yes,
consider that you can go ahead and take care of and start working on before year end. So
right.
we
And it
will
may
talk
be,
about that in the future.
yeah, it may be different. It may be that Kina hears something and she gets in front of her computer and records it and we put it up. It may be one, two
Mhm.
of us.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be as much as possible. We want the entire crew together
Correct.
to get
Absolutely.
those funds.
Yes. Because we want to help you protect your funds, grow your funds, and have fun with your funds.
Yes.
So thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
All right.